Hello and welcome back. I'm excited today to share with you 5 wins for your Etsy shop. For those of you that are new, my name is Kat Hutchings and I've been selling on Etsy for 12 years. I have 2 shops and done over 100,000 sales on the platform. And now I just love sharing information with you to help you grow your own Etsy shop and e-commerce brand as well. So today we're going to talk about 5 quick implementation things that you can check in your shop. Now, don't think that these are like, if you've got these 5 things done, you're good, your shop should make millions and millions of sales. But like I explained to people that I kind of work with and coach in their Etsy shops, Etsy is like a puzzle, and being successful on the platform is kind of like having all of the pieces. And so it's not just like 1 or 2 things that are going to make you successful, but all of the pieces put together. So we're just going to talk about 5 quick ones for you today. So get out your pencil, get your check marks ready, and see if you're doing these 5 things in your Etsy shop. All right, the first one we're going to talk about, I'm going to pop on over to my own Etsy shop here so you can see, is are you using backlinks in your listing? So what I mean by that is when you scroll down here to an item's descriptions, you'll notice that you can put something called backlinks. So that means when someone's looking at this item and they're like, wow, this is a really beautiful item, I'm loving it, I read the description, it's got all the, materials, all of the good information here. If they want to see more options in my shop, this lets me kind of control how they do that. So for this particular listings, they can either view more gemstone items or, for example, bracelets. So if they click on this listing, you'll see it's going to populate them here to my shop, and you're going to see some of the other bracelet options that I have listed. So this is really cool. It does a couple things. It allows people to not only see more options, but it keeps them in your shop longer. As you can see on Etsy, Etsy does a fabulous job on their platform of kind of directing sellers to really cool items, trying to get people to make those purchases to support our small businesses. But as a seller, that's sometimes tricky because you don't want to lose those customers when they're on your listing. So using a backlink in all of your listings to kind of redirect people to additional items that they might be interested as well, not only has the chance of like increasing your average order value, but like I said, having those customers stay on your site. All right, the next one you have probably heard of, but is so important. I feel like Etsy has stressed this a lot. I've seen it for my own shop, and even just from like a buyer standpoint, I know this really, I have literally not purchased items before and purchased other items because they had this feature. Also, if you're like a dinosaur like me and been on the platform for a while, having to go back and add this feature, because this is a newer feature that Etsy added, not super new, but within the last I think couple of years or so. I've been on for over a decade, so I had to go back through a lot of my listings and add this. All right, it is videos. Now Etsy allows you, as you can see here, to do 15-second no sound videos of the items in your shop. So totally depending on what kind of items or things you're selling, I really think this can apply to almost everything. Even something like printed items, I often tell people like sometimes it's good to just like hold like a piece of paper up to the camera so people can see the thickness, kind of touch it with your hands. You can see, again, this is just an example of how we kind of like do some of those videos for our jewelry items. It's really up close. You can see all of the different angles, how it would kind of like fit in your hand, how it feels. Really important piece. I do know it can be very time consuming and laborious. If that's a word, I might have just made that up. But I do think it can make a big difference in your shop. All right, number 3, I'm going to use this example still here for this listing, is are you linking your color variations to the photo? So what I mean by that, so you can see here, this particular item has different options that people can select from. So under gemstone, whenever you go and you select one of these items, for example, we got the howlite there, a beautiful photo pops up. So I want to also say I really recommend when you do this, not only to link the photo, but go ahead, I'll remember to drop this in the description of the video. If you haven't used Canva before, that's my go-to. I can add photos with text and things like that super easy. So I get these photos, and then I also recommend putting, even though it'll pop up when people select that option, it really does make a difference sometimes when people are going fast. Maybe they don't have time to actually select the drop down. If they're just like scrolling through your photos, they can really easily see which item is what color or option that you have available. Okay, so are you linking your variations to the photos that coincide with them? All right, also for the third tip, just kidding, we're on the fourth tip. I'm so good at this YouTube stuff sometimes, guys. Okay, the fourth tip within that variation category, and this one's going to be weird, and not a lot of people know this. I didn't actually know it for a really long time, but it can make a difference. So what I suggest is use Etsy's variation options whenever possible. Okay, so for example, if you are selling a shirt, like let's just come over here, we'll go ahead and do a search. So if I say women's shirt, okay, and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, super cute. Sunflowers are way in right now. I love this. I'm going to click on this here. And I'm guessing, you see how they have some colors here. Now it's interesting. And again, this is totally going to depend on each shop, but this seller has, you can see here, they have different options, but they've called them different colors. And they also, because they have so many colors, they're not able to link those to the variation. So of course, if this is the case for you, you'd want to do something like a color chart. And my video is in the way. I can't, I'm sure they probably have a color chart in there somewhere. Can I move this? Oh, look, I can. All right, let's see. This is surprising to me. Well, again, you know me with my videos. I don't edit them out. Okay, this one says athletic gray. I'm surprised that they don't label their colors a little better. Anyways, I'm getting off track. Okay, well, normally with the colors, if someone is looking for a yellow shirt, maybe it's because they populate them. They think, oh, see, some of these are populating now. Maybe they just didn't have enough for all of them. Okay, anyways, so here with the yellow shirt, if I'm looking specifically for a yellow sunflower shirt, this particular seller has kind of covered their bases a little bit because they have the yellow here. That's going to populate in if someone's filtering those results. So now let me show you the same thing. This heather mustard though, even though that's still a really pretty yellow, that wouldn't necessarily pop up if they didn't have this yellow variation. So let me try to illustrate this just a little bit clearer for you. Okay, so what you're going to do is, like, some people like to sort by filters that Etsy offers. Okay, so we're going to go to clothing, and then we'll go to women's, and then we'll go to tops and tees. All right, and then let's even just go to t-shirts. We'll go even further into this. And then here where it says all filters. Now look, I hope you guys can still see this on my screen share here, but see how you can choose different things? There's all kinds of options. This is how people search sometimes. And so for example, like if I'm going for a color, like I was talking to you before, there's no mustard yellow here. So that particular seller, and again, I'm sure they have a lovely shop, not just trying to pick on them, just illustrate a point, because they did have a yellow option. So if I were to select, I want a yellow shirt, if you've colored your, and let's say it's not necessarily always colors. Like for example, I know in jewelry, they have gemstone drop downs. If I wanted to be fancy and call it, instead of just amethyst, and use their amethyst drop down, and I wanted to call it like dark amethyst, and so I typed that in instead of using the drop down that it gives me, or again with the mustard yellow, if I want to call it mustard yellow instead of just using the drop down that Etsy gives me, when someone goes to filter that search result and they say, I only want you to show me like yellow shirts. So see, all of these shirts that are offered in that yellow option are gonna come up. But if you've named your shirt mustard yellow and not yellow, even though it's a really cool name and probably describes the color really well, it's not gonna necessarily pop up. Okay, so I think that's illustrating that point. Let's see, let's do for my fifth tip that I want you guys to really consider, and I know there's still sometimes like mixed feelings about this, but over here, you can see in my shop, this is my current sale going on. Are you utilizing sales in your Etsy shop? This can be such an effective tool, not only for like, just buyer incentive, but it also helps to keep your shop look fresh. It also helps people, like when they get updates of your shop, they get notified that sales are going on. It's another great way. Like if, for example, you can see in this one, I've done a spend 35, get whatever, I can't even remember what percentage off it was now for this month, 20% off. That gives people a chance. Like if normally maybe they were just going to buy these earrings, okay, well, I see if I can get one more pair, that'll push me over 35, I'll get 20% off. Worth it. So of course, always know your margins. I really, really strongly recommend you have that built into your pricing so you can offer sales at different times. Especially, I know Etsy has their Labor Day sale coming up. In order to be included in that, I believe they ask for people to offer at least 15% off. They recommend 25 for certain dates. So that way you can be included in lots of their promotion, their emails. That's easy, free advertising, with the exception, again, of being able to offer that discount. But it actually makes a big difference in your shop. So the way I like to do it is every month we kind of change out that sale. It can be, buy a certain number, spend a certain number. Sometimes it's just a blanket sale. You can do like certain items on sale. However you decide to do it, that's one of my favorite things to do, is also not only create the sale, but then make sure you're telling people about it. You can see here we always update our announcements with our sale, and then we also like to put it in our shop banner. And if you want to be really fancy, you can do the Etsy, gosh, I can't remember what it's called now, that you pay Etsy Plus, maybe? I think you pay like $10 extra, and you get the carousel where you can have different banners displayed in your shop. Not 100% necessary, but can be a fun feature. So, all right, I think that's all for today. I hope you guys liked the video. Let me know in the comments if you are doing all 5 of these things, if some of them are new, if you have any other tips or tricks that you find really make a difference in your shop. And of course, remember to subscribe and like. It really makes a difference to how I'm able to show up for you guys. And I will not see you next week, as I am taking a week break, but I will see you the following week with some additional tips and tricks for growing your e-commerce brand. Talk to you then.